when you can't come up with another idea. Fuck it, dude. Just make something. Just get up, get in front of your shit, pump it out, baby. No one gives a fuck about your creative integrity. None of it matters. All that matters is that you're here, working, making shit. Yeah.
All right, welcome to the Two Tone Podcast, episode 9 of the Two Tone Podcast. So, if you ever feel like you're in a creative rut, just get up, make something. If it's gonna be shit, let it be shit. If it's gonna be great, let it be great. In the wise words of Marc Rebillet. How you doing today, kid? How you be? Alongside us, as always, we got
Little TT
what it do,
or
little
Theo.
TT. How you be, kid? How you be?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Had the day off. You know, can't really complain. Went out to the mall to walk around a little bit. Got some food. Just chilling for the most part, but I want to say thank you to everybody that's coming out so far to listen to the Two Tone Podcast. We appreciate you so much. If you're not subscribed, go ahead, subscribe, like, leave a comment, share it with your uncle, your brother, your sister, your dog, a pigeon you find on the street. Share it with everybody. We appreciate everybody that has been down with us. If you are new to the Two Tone Podcast, my name is Jalen Kale, musician, artist, clothing design. Got a new EP out, scrolling on the side there. Go check it out. It's called Unfuckswittable on all streaming platforms. What you got for the people, T? What you got for the people?
Nothing new. Just still working on that script.
Still just trying to get the kinks out of your Channel 6 script.
Yeah.
Right on. So last time we checked in on it, you were about 85-90% done. Would you say you're still about that same percentage done, or a little bit closer to 100?
Probably the same. I haven't really had that much time to work on it.
Fair enough. We do work full time, but yeah, I just wanted to put that little thing in the beginning of the episode. We'll get into it later, but Marc Rebillet, if you don't know Marc Rebillet, put his name in YouTube, watch a couple of clips, let go of your inhibitions with him, dog. He's such a great musician, such a great human being. But anyways, thank you for watching the Two Tone Podcast. Let's get on into it. Welcome back to the Two Tone Podcast. So, as you were talking about a little bit ago with the Channel 6 script, how many people do you think are going to be actors in this new short that you're writing? Or actresses?
Probably like 3 or 4. Not that many.
I'm about to say, I feel like that's really always the hardest part about writing movies and stuff, especially when you're in a small town. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say a small town, but when media isn't like the main output of your town, it's kind of hard to find people that are interested and like-minded and just people that are willing to act in general, because nowadays most kids are, really introverted type shit, I feel like.
Yeah.
But excited to see what you got coming up nonetheless. As I said previously, got a new EP out right there. Bing. Unfuckswittable on all streaming platforms. Go Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora. Do people still use Pandora? Is that still a thing?
I think so, but I haven't used it in a while, so.
Pandora was the thing that kind of like sparked it all with the big streaming platforms, kind of.
Yeah.
I definitely had a Pandora account back in the day, but unless you didn't they come out with like Pandora Premium like really late? Like it was always one of those apps that you just had to like listen to random songs that it generated.
I think so, yeah.
Pandora, blast from the past. But if you're on Pandora, go hit that follow. YouTube. Anyways,
Speaking of blasts from the past,
speaking of blast from the past, what you want to talk about, Lil Titty?
my film of the week.
You want to just get right on into it, huh? Okay. Film of the week. What did you choose for this week's film of the week, T?
The Apple Dumpling Gang.
The Apple Dumpling Gang. Why did you choose the Apple Dumpling Gang out of all the possible choices?
I don't know. I just found it and decided to put it up.
I'm about to say
It's a movie that probably a lot of people haven't seen, and it's pretty old. So
we're terrible at coming up with ideas and stuff before the podcast. So I literally called him earlier this morning, and I was like, "Hey, you got a film of the week yet?" And he was like, "I literally called him at like 9 o'clock in the morning. And I heard him waking up. He said, What you want, bud?" And I said, "You got a film of the week?" He said, "You know what time it is?" But no, with the limited amount of time that you had, the Apple Dumpling Gang is definitely not one of the pictures that I would have thought you'd promote on the podcast. But the Apple Dumpling Gang, in and of itself, 10 out of 10. If you haven't seen the Apple Dumpling Gang, it's like a Western comedy, just a duo of oh, Kyle's gonna hate me for this one. I forget who's in the Apple Dumpling Gang, but uh, oh Lord, it's gonna really annoy my life. Hold on. All right. And
it's been a while
for
since
the
we've
weekly
seen it.
Google of what we should have known about this movie. All right, so the Apple Dumpling Gang cast Don Knotts and Tim Conway. Don Knotts and Tim Conway are like the main characters in the Apple Dumpling Gang. They are the Apple Dumpling Gang, essentially. But I really haven't seen this movie in so long. I couldn't even begin to tell you what happens in the plot of this movie. But do you know anything plot wise about what happens in the Apple Dumpling Gang?
Not the first one, but I think it's the second one. They get arrested.
Oh yeah, I remember that scene.
They try and break out and everything, and they like blow up the whole jail with like gunpowder and stuff. It's pretty funny.
It's like one of those comedies that's like between modern comedy and like the talking picture, black and white kind of comedy. Like what's his name, bro, with the mustache?
I think I remember what the first one was about. I think they were like robbing a bank, and then they were getting away, and that's how they got caught and sent to jail. And then in the second one, they break out of jail.
I honestly couldn't tell you one thing that happens in the movie. Or no, I remember, and it starts off, there's like these three orphans, and this dude is like playing poker, and he's like, somebody asked him to pick up a package, and then he goes to pick up the package, and it's like these three kids, and he's like, what? Hold on, that's not what I meant. I thought I was getting a package, dog. What are you talking about? I got to take care of three kids now. But that's really all I remember from the Apple Dumpling Gang.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, from what I remember, in the recesses of my mind, I remember this movie. But if you haven't seen the Apple Dumpling Gang, log into your mom's Disney Plus and go watch the Apple Dumpling Gang.
Or if you have it on CD, you could watch it that way too.
You mean on DVD?
Or yeah, DVD.
Oh
CD,
Lord.
DVD.
Oh my God. Okay, so TT
same difference. One's for music, one's for video.
Okay, so he's been trying to find this one of these old school phones, right? Well, he had a little rotary phone, but then figured out that the ringer didn't work, so he went and got him a little one of those, had the receiver and everything. And my fiance and I were over here, and they go, do you have to hook it up to a landline? And TT goes, what's a landline? and
I didn't know that's not what happened.
it was something
It
to that
was
effect. He didn't know what a landline was.
She asked me, does it have that, I forget what it's called, but the ring that you get before or the buzz that happens.
Oh,
when
the
you pick up-
dial tone.
Yeah,
He
dial
didn't know what a
tone.
dial tone was. It wasn't a landline. He didn't know what a fucking dial tone was. Oh my god, I felt so fucking old when he said, "What is a dial tone?" And I was like, "You never picked up a phone, just." And then
I didn't know
beep,
that's
beep,
what it
beep,
was
beep, beep.
called. I didn't know that was the
Oh,
name
bro,
for
made
it.
me feel old as hell. I swear to God.
I know what it is. I just didn't understand. I didn't know that was the name that you called it. I thought a dial tone was something else. But
That's hilarious though, but I was literally taken back and I was like, bro, you don't know what a dial tone is? What is that? I was born in the late 1900s.
I was never told what a dial tone was. I
It
always
is
thought that buzzing was just like something that happened.
fair enough. But bro, it made me feel old as shit. What were we talking about before I got into the dial tone? Was he talking about your film still? Your apple dumpling gangs?
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen Don Knotts and anything, Don Knotts is one of those comedians he's like an older guy, but he is so funny. I feel like the Apple Dumpling Gang is kind of like one of those what's it called?
I feel like it's kind of like the Three Stooges.
Yeah, it's kind of like a physical comedy more than like a witty jokes kind of comedy, but it's very much worth the watch. If you haven't seen it, check it out. There's 2 of them actually, I believe. If in total, I think
2
there's
or
2.
3, something like that.
I honestly couldn't tell you, but check out the Apple Dumpling Gang on your mom's Disney Plus. And speaking of films of the week, before I forget, this week's quote. This week's quote comes from a former president. We had a quote from him a couple weeks ago. The good man Theodore Roosevelt. So this quote is I don't know if y'all can see over here, but on the wall we got my mom did all this stuff with a little Cricut machine, cuts out letters and shapes and whatnot. But this quote is actually on the wall over there. It's kind of covered up by the cupboard we got up against the wall at the moment. But the quote reads, "Do what you can with what you have where you are." From Theodore Roosevelt.
So
There you go, TT's point. It gets covered up by the cupboard at one point, but
yeah.
it reads all the way across the wall, "Do what you can with what you have where you are." That's always been a quote that like my mom's tried to instill in me, especially as artists and creatives and stuff. I feel like there's a lot of comparison to other creatives and artists and stuff. Like when you know what you want to do, you kind of gravitate towards other creatives that are doing the same thing, but you're not where they are. You don't have what they have, and you're not doing exactly what they're doing. So
Another great quote that's on this wall.
let him know, T.
Can't never did anything.
That's one of my favorite quotes of all time. Honestly, that's another one that my mom instilled in us when we were really, really young. But yeah, if you say you can't do something, then you're never gonna do it. You never know if you don't try. Type beat.
This one's also really good, but I don't remember what it says.
What does it say that you can read? So
It says the only place where dreams are, and then I think if we slide this.
Oh, that looks dangerous. Don't do it.
Hold
It
up.
look like it's gonna tip up. Oh my God, TT, you gonna kill us all. Oh Lord. Okay. All right, you got to read it from there.
So it says, the only place where dreams are impossible is in your own mind.
Very profound. I'm about to say, my mom spent so much time working on this wall and putting so much work into just being a creative. That's honestly where me and TT get it from. My mom is such a creative person. She used to be an artist back in the day. Um, they
Oh,
they do more crochet now.
bruh. For so long, she was the person that you would go to for painting or drawing advice.
Oh yeah, I'm about to say there's been so many times where I'm like, hey, does this look good? And then it'd be like, oh, you need to do something over here and darken this one line, da 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 da. Just a little artist advice, but it's been very helpful to have a creative kind of mother in the ventures of being a creative in and of itself. But oh, this one quote I can see from over here. Y'all can't, but I'll tell you what it says. It says, "Quit your bitching." I
It's a
love
great
that quote too. I love that quote. There's so many like really good short quotes on this wall, but if you're ever in my mom's house, come check it out. But what was I talking? Okay, on from the quote of the week into the album of the week. The album of the week is from the creative that you heard at the very beginning of the podcast. Probably gonna get a flag for that, but c'est la vie. So is life. Also one of my favorite quotes. But anyways, this album, or it's actually an EP, but we gonna consider it an album this week because I don't care. I make the rules. Sue me. But anyways, the album of the week is Loop Daddy 2 by Marc Rebillet. If you don't know anything about Marc Rebillet, he's been very instrumental in my upcoming as a musician. I'd say, being that he uses the looper as well as I use the looper. His is a little different, in the sense that his looper it has like 5 different channels, and so you can record the drums on one channel, your keyboard on the next channel, your bass, and then you can do your vocals on a different channel. So like you'd be coming into a beat, just and then and then you can go back to just the or you can just play like the anyways. If you haven't seen Marc Rebillet, go check him out. Loop Daddy 2, available on all streaming platforms. A very, very, just like a very genuine soul in what I feel like can be a very pretentious market in music and stuff. He seems like the people's musician, really. In my mind, he's I don't remember where he's based out of, but he's in New York right now, um, doing like live streams and shows and stuff. Me and Sam actually went to one of his shows over the pandemic. He had a show at the drive-in, and he was set up in a tent and just mixing beats, and then you tune your car to the radio station or whatever. But if you haven't seen Marc Rebillet, go check him out. Give him a listen. Do you know much about Marc Rebillet? T? Have you listened to much Marc Rebillet?
Yeah. You showed me him around like my 8th grade year.
I'm about to say I feel like he's one of those artists too that's really been blowing up. That's really been blowing up recently. He played a set at Coachella recently. He played he's playing at Bonnaroo. He's like getting into these really big festivals and stuff, which is really interesting to see. He's kind of like an independent kind of musician, so it kind of gives you hope in a sense that it's possible to make it out. Okay, onward to the list of topics that we have to talk about today. Okay, so off the top, have you been paying attention to the WWE recently, T?
A little bit.
You see what happened to the Bloodline?
Yeah.
Oh my god, bro. So me and Sam were sitting there watching Friday Night SmackDown last week, and so like if you don't know about WWE, you can go ahead and skip forward a little bit. But anyways, so there's this faction called the Bloodline, and there's Roman Reigns at the top, and then you got these two twin brothers, Jimmy and Jay, and then there's another guy like kind of off to the side named Solo. And so uh, Jimmy super kicks Roman in the face a couple weeks ago at Night of Champions, and just kind of putting a riff into the bloodline. And so on Friday Night SmackDown, Jay was kind of like put in the middle of it, trying to be like, who are you gonna go with? Are you gonna go with Roman or are you gonna go with Jimmy? And they come out, have a big old talking moment, and Roman's like, I made the Usos who they are today. Y'all wouldn't be nothing without me. And then Jay, like out of nowhere, he's like, Jimmy, you're out. And I am too. And Jay turns around and boom, super kicks Roman Reigns right in the face. And me and Sam like lost our shit, dog. We were watching. He said, shit. No, he didn't. No, he did. He just super kicked him in the face. And then Roman, he was like, you can't do this to me. Getting back up off his knees. And Jimmy and Jay were about to leave the ring. And they both go, well, bam! Super kicked him in the face 2 times and just double speed. And I said, oh, shit. Oh, shit. The bloodline is done. The bloodline is over, dog. Oh, my fucking God. So, I don't know if you've seen, but Roman and Solo are going to go tag teaming up against the Usos at Money in the Bank.
I didn't hear about that part, but I did see
Bruh.
the action.
If you're a fucking nerd and you like just don't care about your public perception, but if you have the time, watch the WWE. Their storylines are good. They have entertaining matches, I feel like. And for the WWE, like me getting back into it, it's giving me a whole nother outlook on life. I could just sit there for an hour and a half and just be a child again and watch the WWE. And it ain't hurting nobody else, so fuck do I care. But off of my WWE rant for right now. Back to the list of what we had to talk about. Okay, so the first thing we had to talk about, well, the first thing that I wanted to talk about was plays/theater shows. Have you attended many plays or theater shows in your life too?
A decent amount. I wouldn't say a lot, and I wouldn't say a little.
Have you seen any like Broadway plays or like gone to Beef and Boards or anything like that?
Yeah.
What did you see at Beef and Boards, or have you been?
I've seen Kinky Boots. That's the only one I can remember. But
I'm about to say,
I think I've seen more, but I can't really remember them.
I remember as a kid, my grandma used to take us to Beef and Boards, and she took me one time and we went to see Singing in the Rain. That was your movie of the week a couple weeks ago, if I remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really interesting to see Singing in the Rain, and I also saw 9 to 5 at
I think
Beef
I
and
saw 9
Boards.
to 5 too.
I believe you were there with us.
Yeah.
But oh Lord, what was I talking about? Oh, plays and theater shows. Plays and theater shows have like always been kind of one of those things that I've been interested in, but like never really had the time or resources to attend such events or stuff. I know there's like free ones at schools and shit, but I kind of want to see like the top level of it, go to Broadway type shit. Would you ever go to Broadway? Or like try and see a play there?
Yeah, I would. If I had the money.
If you had the money, would you choose to go to New York or Los Angeles to experience it for like a month or so?
Probably LA.
Interesting. I've always found that the East Coast is like a little bit more of my vibe. But the West Coast, it's a good ass time. They got good ass weather all the time. They got fucking good food. They got beaches,
I just feel like New York is too packed.
I can understand that. I feel like once you really get like onto the interstates and stuff around LA, you can kind of get a lot of traffic and stuff, I was about to say I've never experienced it myself, but I've heard traffic in LA is a fucking nightmare. That's also one of the things that I kind of like about New York. It's a little bit more walkable, a little bit more personal, I feel like.
Kyle, if you have any information about highways in LA, let us know.
Leave it in the comments below, Kyle. But from what I've heard, it's a fucking nightmare. Like when you're like in the city of LA driving and on the interstates. So like where are you driving? That's not in the city. Well, I guess like you got the hills, you got like the little neighborhoods and whatnot within the city. But I could honestly see myself like in New York with a little bike, just ching ching ching, hoping I don't get hit by somebody. Or I just feel like the East Coast is a little bit more my vibe, as I was saying. But anyways, onward and upward. So we wanted to talk about knowing old movies, films, just old media in general. What did you want to talk about with in regards to knowing old film?
Well, not really just old film, just old stuff in general, because I feel like as a filmmaker, you learn more about older stuff. Like, you learn more about, like, rotary phones and, what is that thing I'm looking for?
I couldn't tell you.
The thing that they used to wear on the side of their hip, and it would, like, beep, and they would get,
Oh,
like,
a pager?
yeah.
Yeah.
You, like, learn a bunch about, like, all this old equipment that they used to use. Like, if you're shooting an older film.
Right.
So,
You've been trying to come up with an idea for like a '70s based movie, right?
yeah.
I feel like a lot of the technology and stuff that they had in the '70s and '80s is like really outdated today. Obviously, TT didn't know what a fucking dial tone was, but yeah, there's a lot of taking into account like what kind of technology was present in the time when the time that you're going for in the movie and stuff, because you can't really have like a movie based in the '70s and they got iPhone 14. Hello,
Yeah.
but
Um, but they also had, like, I think, like, the 70s is crazy because it was, like, old. But then, like, those people thought they were going into, like, the future with, like, all these brand new equipment and shit, and they, like, had all these futuristic looking furniture and stuff, and it was, like,
oh yeah,
super weird.
oh yeah, it's definitely crazy to see like what it not only to see what comes out of the generations and stuff, but to see what people think the future is gonna look like.
Yeah.
And like especially for example in Back to the Future, when they go into 2015 and they got hoverboards and flying cars and the Cubs win the World Series and all this shit.
Yeah.
And then we get to 2015 and we're like, we're still driving in traffic. We still got skateboards. But it's really interesting to see like how far people think we'll come within such a short span of time. Like especially today with like Chat GPT and with all the AI kind of shit that's going on.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to see. Have you seen they came out with a new season of Black Mirror?
I saw it. I haven't watched it yet.
Me and Sam are watching the new season of Black Mirror, and the first episode is really, really interesting. So, all right, spoiler alert: if you haven't seen Black Mirror, I'm gonna talk about the first episode a little bit. But so like the whole premise of the episode is there's this show called I forget the chick's name, but this chick's name is awful. And so like she's sitting at home and she's scrolling through Netflix. It's called Streamberry on the on the show, but they're sitting at home scrolling through Streamberry and they come across this show that is their name is awful, and like the main character has the same haircut, has the same like they have like a really distinctive haircut and the main character does too.
Yeah.
And they come to realize that the show is literally like following their life. Like exactly how their life went down the past like 24 hours. And so everybody is watching this show and they're like, who is this chick? What is this show? And it ends up being that like they're all inside of like an AI simulation and they have to break the simulation from with inside of it. It's like a really fucking weird meta AI.
So it's kind of like the Truman Show.
Yeah, kind of in a way it is kind of like the Truman Show, but it's like I don't want to give like the plot of the whole episode away. I've given away enough, but if if you're into Black Mirror, season whatever we're on, episode 1, so good. I haven't seen. I tried to watch a little bit of episode 2, but I fell asleep. I tried to watch it late at night. But episode 1, fire. Go check it out. Um, how did we get on to Black Mirror? Oh,
Talking about
talking
old
about
stuff.
yeah. Okay, so um, talking about old stuff in regards to like your 70s movie. What are a couple of things that you think like technology, or not even technology wise, like what makes you think of the 70s?
Solid colors. Uh, Chairs that are made out of leather, but they're shaped very weirdly. Um, Bell bottom jeans.
So kind of like a hippie vibe almost.
Almost, yeah.
Okay, I can see that. When I think of 70s, I like as you said, like I think a lot of like block coloring, like pastels, burnt oranges, um just kind of like that monotone, kind of color scheme.
Kind of
Um
into I kind of think about like Wes Anderson type of coloring.
yeah, he I feel like he achieves a lot of really good coloring and blocking and he's just, as I said last episode, he's one of those directors that just like scratches my fucking OCD. Just the way that he shoots and the color schemes in his movies are so good.
Yeah.
Very interesting to see. Okay, on to the next topic of discussion on the Two Tone Podcast. Wanted to talk about mental health a little bit. So, in the entertainment industry, well, in every industry, honestly, you're gonna have those times where you're like, why am I even doing this? Why am I even here? Type beat. And recently, I've kind of been like, I don't really know the exact direction that I want to go with my music slash performing and everything. Like over the past couple of weekends, uh, by the way, thank you again to everybody that came out to my shows the other week. Um, But the other weekend, I kind of realized that I don't really have the love of performing as I used to. I feel like a lot of it comes from like not having a full band and like having to take on the responsibility of being the setup and the tear down and just make all the music myself.
Yeah.
But no animosity towards anybody. Go live your life. Go do what you want to do. I ain't gonna hold you down. But I feel like it's one of those things that's kind of like weighed down on my consciousness about just making I'm always going to make music. I love music. It's always been like a really instrumental part of my life. Very a very cathartic experience for me, honestly. But
I feel like it kind of has to do with you being uh you doing it for a long time. Like you've been performing since high school.
right.
So I feel like you're just like done with wanting to perform in front of people.
I can totally understand that. I've definitely like not branched out and like tried to play bigger venues and stuff, but like at this point I'm playing the same venues every year, playing the same set list damn near, maybe one or two new songs each year, but it's kind of just gotten repetitive for me, but it's one of those things that it's extra money. It's honestly not that hard. Just go up there for an hour, 2 hours, whatever. But I kind of feel like in the future, I kind of want to go more towards producing more than actually like doing live performance and stuff. Kind of making beats for other people, writing songs. Well, also for myself, but like Um,
I mean, I'm trying to get you to make soundtracks, but
right, just do like more commercial work. Do like podcast intros or for commercials or movies or video games and stuff like that. I kind of feel like the more movies and video games would be my lane of
I also feel like it gets you out
progression.
there more doing
Yeah,
all that stuff because, like, you only got a certain amount of people that go to the Greenwood or the OLG Fest.
right. I'm about to say like
Whereas, like, if you're making music for like a soundtrack for a film that I made or a soundtrack for a film that Kyle made, I feel like people are gonna be like online watching it and they're gonna be like, "This is good music. I wonder who made it."
right. I'm about to say Kyle's always been good about showing me love in his movies and stuff. Like in his most recent one, he put one of my songs at the end as like the credits song,
Yeah.
and he had like a little poster of me like in the middle of his movie type shit. But it's one of those things that I feel like, as you were saying, it's a little easier to get your name out there if you put it in more of
Digital form.
well, not only a digital form, but like also put it in a video form or in a movie or a commercial or, as I was saying, any of those other things.
Yeah.
But me and TT are like fucking two peas in a pod when it comes to worrying about shit that we ain't got no business worrying about. We fucking
Like that whole hour and a half before we started filming.
oh yeah, like we
Where
we
I
were
was just like worried about too much, and Mom was like, "Need to bring it down, make it
your worry
smaller."
level is up here. We need to be like right here, okay?
Yeah.
You ain't got nothing to worry about. Relax. But I feel like mental health is always one of those things that's gonna kind of weigh into my music and into my creativity process. Like you can kind of tell whenever I don't put too much effort into a song, or like it's one of those songs that I've been working on forever. Like I feel like my albums usually have one or two tracks that are like really, really good in my mind, and the other ones are kind of just like cathartic experiences to get my feelings out and whatnot. Do you ever does your mental state ever weigh into your script writing or anything like that?
Um, I mean, yeah, but there's also like times where I don't want to put it into my movie making because I feel like people will judge me based on what I put in the film.
I can totally understand
So,
that. Like I've definitely written a few songs that's like that's the lyrics are like, you left me on red, you stupid bitch. Now I'm sad in my room by myself,
yeah.
type shit. But people are gonna judge regardless. So if you with me, that's awesome. If you ain't, I ain't tripping about it. But I can see it like in a movie, it'll be a little more touchy of a subject to kind of go into because you also got that the video aspect of it.
Yeah. And then you also have to balance people's emotions with it. So, like, if I made a film about rape,
Damn.
there's people that get like offended by that or worried about that, which means I'm not saying that your feelings don't matter. I'm just saying that like it's people take things too literal sometimes. Is what I'm trying to say.
I can totally understand what you're saying with a lot of like, I mean, everybody's feelings is valid.
Yeah.
Have your feelings. That don't mean your feelings are correct. Like I feel like there's just too much in today's society, too much of just babying people around, too much of like people just not taking the facts for what they are.
Or
But
people like walking on eggshells around people.
oh yeah, I feel like that's a big thing in movies nowadays. Like people aren't gonna go and risk seeing a movie that is kind of controversial if there's something else in the theater that is really really popular in the zeitgeist.
And it also like doesn't help the director of said film like if it's controversial, because people are going to be like, oh, well, this was super controversial, so let's cancel him.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I don't understand the whole canceling shit. Like,
But, you know,
if you're really that fucking pressed by it, then don't consume the media. It's that simple. Like, you see that
People-
X in the top right of your screen, dog, click that shit.
people just
Click
don't,
your home button.
people
Turn your
don't-
phone off.
people don't understand that, like, they put themselves in the situation to watch that content. They don't have to do that. They can literally do, like, as you said, they could leave, watch something else.
Right. There is.
But
there
they
is-
just get too much into their feelings, and they're like, oh, well, I need everybody in the world to know that this person's canceled.
Right. I'm about to say there is an endless supply of videos and music and media and podcasts and anything that you want you could look at instead of fucking just wasting your time on just fucking trying to make somebody else's life a living hell. There's this one quote that I love. I can't remember exactly who it's from, but it goes something to the effect of anger is the only medicine, or no. Oh fuck, how does it go? Goodness. Anger is the only thing that poisons the vessel which holds it. So like in saying like if I'm angry at you, you're just gonna live your life, dog. You're not gonna know that like that anger hurts you none, and it hurts me like 10 times more because I'm sitting here thinking about how angry I am at you, thinking about like, oh, this motherfucker that I swear to God, turn around, I'm gonna hit you in the head type shit. You just harbored all these negative thoughts when you can be like, okay, I don't agree with this person's values, but we all people at the end of the day. So
Yeah. We all make
I'ma do what I
mistakes
do.
in life.
exactly, that's what life is, just a series of mistakes that you learn from. That's all it is.
There's a quote from a comedian, and he says, life's just going to fuck you over. You just need to find a way to make it comfortable.
Very true. Very true. There's so much of fucking animosity today, like on not even between like creatives and people like that, but like just between like normal everyday people. I feel like when I was growing up, there was a lot more like people would wave to you when you're driving. Your neighbor would ask how you doing.
Yeah.
That kind of shit. But I feel like the more that we dive into like technology and cell phones and being online all day, the more disconnected that we get, even though it was kind of made to, connect everybody in an easy, functional way.
It's like what you said that I think it was like the first or second podcast that we look too much at the top of the list of people when we're all the way at the bottom. We look up instead of just focusing on where we're at. So
Yeah,
like
I feel like that's also a part
I
of
look
it.
up to Tim Burton. So I want to be like Tim Burton. So I'm going to make films or do whatever like Tim Burton, but factually I should be doing what I want to do.
Very true.
And that's what technology has done, is made it easier for people to look up to people that are higher above them, that have lived longer than they have and done more.
Just kind of comparing themselves to other people that are obviously going to have more experience and more wealth in the subject that they're studying.
Basically, yeah.
It just goes back to like I don't remember if it was a quote of the week, but I remember bringing it up one time that comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
When you start being like, oh shit, why can't my movies sell like Tim Burton's, as you were saying, that robs you of the joy of selling those 25 tickets to that one theater that you had.
That's why like you see you see families of people that like live without technology, and they're like living back before color, as we would say.
Back before color, as we would say.
And you see those people in the world, and they're just having the time of their life.
It is very interesting to see like the difference in the amount of like gratitude that people have for life when they don't have like the technologies of the modern day, I'm sure there's like tribes in Africa and all around the world, that don't have technology as we do today, and it's kind of interesting to see just like the vast difference that they hold on the human life than we do today.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of it is also just like we have too many fucking people on the earth. Like cities are overcrowded. You got homelessness. You got millions and millions of people living within like 400 square miles. And when I feel like when you get that amount of people, like say there's somebody on the side of the road that ain't got no gas, but the gas station's on the other side of the street. If you're in New York City, everybody gonna drive by you because you thinking that somebody else is gonna stop for them. But in a smaller town, people are more willing to help other people.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to see like the difference in the human society that we live in today between like small towns and big towns and shit like that. Shit is wild these days.
Yep.
Shit is wild. All right.
But anything else on the docket?
Enough about talking about depressing ass shit. Okay. Let's talk about choosing your friends responsibly. So, in life, I feel like when you start to hang out with the wrong crowd, you kind of understand what's going on. Um, luckily,
There's a
what?
saying on this wall.
Uh-huh.
It says, "Your friends," or it says, "Friends are family that you choose."
Mm-hmm.
It's right there.
Yes. I see it. There it is. But I feel like a lot of times the friends that you choose kind of dictates the path in which you go down.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like a more introverted kind of person as me and you are, we kind of tend to, have a friend and then you kind of have that one solid friend and, you might have a couple other friends that you hang out with, but usually you just have one friend that you spend most of your time with outside of work or whatever. But
Yeah.
what did you want to talk about with choosing your friends responsibly for? This was one of your points, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I don't understand people that choose their friends and then like say their friend does something that they disagree with. They stop being friends for like 3 days and then they start being friends again.
That's just life. I feel like that's a lot of like younger kid shit. Like as an adult, well, I'm gonna say as an adult, I'm fucking 23, dog. I'm a child still. Let's be honest. But as an adult, I feel like when the older you get, the more friendships, the kind of like the meaningful friendships really come to the forefront of your life. Like when you realize, oh shit, I haven't texted whoever in months or whatever. And they also haven't texted you. You're like, damn, were we even friends anymore? But I feel like you kind of keep a little tight circle as an adult. A couple friends you go out to drink with, a couple friends you stay in and smoke with.
There's one saying that I've always had. They're your friends if you don't talk for several months and then the next day you decide to message each other and you message back and forth like you never stopped messaging each other. That's true friendship right there.
That is fair enough. I'm about to say, me and one of my best friends, Bob, like we don't ever text or like call or nothing, but he hit me up the other day and he's like, when am I gonna get on the pod, man? And I was like, shit, we'll have you on, but he's a little punk ass bitch. I knew he wasn't gonna want to be on the pod. He said, I don't know how I'll do it in front of the camera, man. I was like, bro, come on. It'll be all right. Me and TT can do it. We don't ever talk to nobody. It's just,
Yeah.
it's just chilling, having a good time, talking shit.
I mean, we're also kind of doing this for our own gains at
Well, I
this
mean,
point too, but I understand what you're saying.
it's a avenue to get your stuff out there. So
Yeah.
if we can, why not? We got a loyal about 7 listeners. I appreciate all y'all, by the way.
7 listeners that we had more than when we started.
Very true. You know, it's a slow climb. You know, you got to start at the bottom to get to the top. I feel like that's been an overarching point in all of our podcasts.
Yeah.
What you got?
But yeah, I feel like we need to, as humans, we need to start choosing our friendships more wisely than just being like, oh, we'll be friends, and then you do something wrong. Oh, I hate you. Next 2 days. Oh, we're friends again.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people that kind of like don't take others' actions as responsibly as they should. You know, like somebody fucks you over, and then next week y'all planning a date to go out and get lunch. You know, I feel like especially as a young adult, like in your teens, going into your 20s, like who you choose to surround yourself really does matter. Like as a child, you don't really think about who you're hanging out with too much. You know, you're like me and Timmy like GI Joe, so we hang out all the time. And then Timmy starts fucking smoking weed, and you're like, I don't know.
I don't like Timmy
I
anymore,
don't know
Dad.
about Timmy. And Timmy's like, we're gonna hang out, and you're gonna smoke this fucking weed.
I mean, perfect example is Kyle and me. Like, you used to hang out with Kyle all the fucking time, and then
Oh yeah, that's my nigga.
like y'all were best friends, and I barely would talk to him, and I would always talk to Luke, and me and Luke would just do whatever while you were over hanging out with Kyle, and then next thing you know, I'm messaging Kyle about film shit, and he's a great friend to have for that.
He is a great guy, all around great guy.
He is a great guy. We should rename him Kyle Baston. Great guy.
That's a little long. Kyle
right.
Baston, GG. There you go.
GG.
We just start calling him GG.
He's a great guy.
That's the GG. Anyways,
I feel like Kyle is the most humbled person that I know.
I'd say he's pretty humble. Yeah.
Like, he's just respectful. Like, I don't think he's ever said anything bad or disrespectful about anybody.
I feel like a big thing in like the comedy scene, I feel like recently is like other comics and stuff. They'll take really good comics on the road to open up for them, because like say if you had a show and you had just like some local guy that's all right, and then you come out and kill it, it's gonna look like you killed it way more than you did if you had somebody that's decent be in the middle,
Yeah.
Just kind of use it. A lot of comedians nowadays, I feel like, will use their platform to kind of boost other people, and I feel like Kyle is one of those guys that subscribes to the theory that the rising tide lifts all boats.
I mean, the Bastons in general, they're all great people.
Great family. Jim makes a mean old fashioned. I'll tell you that. And that man,
I'm gonna need to get one when I turn 21. Then.
I'm about to say it's soon enough. We got a little bar out in the back, bro.
But
it's gonna be a good time this summer at the Baston household,
bruh. Like Kyle, I just feel like he's that type of guy that just like when he rises, he brings other people with him, like, and then he shares the wealth. He doesn't just take it all for himself.
As I was saying, the rising tide lifts all boats.
Yep.
But enough about talking about Kyle sucking his dick. If you
No, I'm not sucking his dick. I'm just saying the truth.
Metaphorically.
Oh.
Not actually. That's a long.
He'd have a long way from now.
I'm gonna say you'd either have to go a long way or he's got a long dick. But anyways, if you like YouTube videos, movies, short movies, being creative, film, and all that whatnot, check out Baston Films on YouTube.
Also,
the Oxymorons podcast. Check that out too.
Evan's a great guy, and I've only known him for a couple weeks. He's
Oh,
also
Evan's a
great dude.
fantastic guy as well. I must say, we got this little like group of creative people.
Bro.
I feel like slowly but surely culminating into what we're trying to do with this business.
Yeah.
But
Also,
Evan's a great guy.
Michael.
And Michael, great guy. All these dudes that we know, creative guys, kind of like more. Michael's kind of more like the theater kid, if you will. Evan's kind of like the what you call architect engineer. And
Oh, Mike.
Kyle's like the director, movie creator, and then you got me with the music.
They're also respectful.
Oh yeah, I'm about to say if you're gonna waste my time, I ain't even gonna be there for you to waste my time, dog.
I just like growing up. I never realized that like you would have respectful friends because
Oh
growing
I'm
up
about
you
to
would
say.
like beat the shit out of me and everything.
Oh, that's just part of being an older brother. I'm about to say when you came out of the womb, you actually had a contract that was like,
I signed it.
Yeah, you signed it and I signed it. We
Mm.
notarized it. We got it laminated,
Mm.
and it pretty much just says that like for the next 18 years, at least once a day, just a punch to the liver or a noogie or trip him at least. Something.
I mean,
fucking make his life interesting.
I respect you for that.
No problem. Anytime. If you want to run it
You
back,
made me grow.
If you want to run it back, just let me know. We can keep going. We can sign another contract. We get somebody notarize it again, laminate it.
I think you were like one of the pillars in me growing up because like we had mom who was the main pillar.
That
Then we had
Nigs.
you
Honorary Nigs.
you were the right hand pillar.
I'm about to say, I feel like, as depressing as it is, I kind of was your father figure in a way. And, as growing up with two older brothers without a dad in the house, you kind of learn from
Yeah.
the other two. But
I think you taught me the most lessons because you would like, if I did something, like if I fucked up or something or like pissed you off, you would beat
I'm
the
gonna let
shit
you
out
know.
of me.
yeah, but I think
Like,
about this one time
it was
all the
just-
time. Like we all had chores to do, and TT's was to go pick up the sticks so I could go mow the lawn, and I was like, "Hey, go pick up the sticks," and TT was like, "You ain't my dad. I ain't got no dad. You ain't my dad, bitch." And I said, "Say bitch again. See what happens." He said, "What you gonna do, bitch?" I said, "I'm gonna punch you in the fucking mouth. That's what's gonna happen." And so he goes up, pick out the sticks out the yard, and we talking shit all the way until he's out. Picks up 2 sticks. And I said, "Say something else. I'm gonna beat your ass." And he turns around and he goes, "Say something else. I'm gonna beat." And so I came out there. I said, "You gonna find out?" And I said, smacked him right in his shit. He called the cops on me and everything. But
yeah,
I'm gonna let you know that you can't just fucking talk to whoever you want, how you want, type shit. But all my friends are really respectful. There's a fine line between being a dick and being a funny guy. It's a fine line that I walk most of the times. But if you have your priorities straight in life, you can kind of tell who's here for the long haul and who's here just to waste your time. Most of the times, I feel like. But enough about talking about other people and whatnot. Let's talk about betting on ourselves. Okay, so this is one of the points that you brought up. What do you want to talk about with betting on yourself?
as a creative person, we need to, or creative people in general need to bet on themselves more often than they usually do, because nobody's gonna make your art for you. So you have to make the art for yourself.
I was about to say, like, what does betting on yourself mean to you?
Taking leaps, even if you might fall flat on your face,
Just
getting
like kinda,
back up and doing it again.
just taking chances that aren't really popular with the main public.
Yep.
I can understand that. I'm gonna say, as I've said multiple times, I make music for myself. If you like it, fantastic. I appreciate you. If you don't like it, I don't fucking care.
But,
Because
like,
I'm gonna keep making it.
financially and like career wise, just take leaps. Because like financially, of course, you're gonna need money to make art.
Right.
And
you
if
gotta
you ain't-
spend money to make money.
Yeah, if you ain't taking leaps, you ain't going anywhere. You're just sitting still, stagnant in the
facts.
water. You just floating there.
Just a buoy out in sea.
Yep.
Anchored down.
Yep.
Not going nowhere.
Nope.
You ever seen a buoy jump?
Nope.
Me neither. That's why they still there.
And but yeah, just take more leaps in life. Just stop being stagnant. Do you live your life?
And live your life. Oh,
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
I've had this idea for years to own my own business, own my own company, and we're working our way towards it.
One day it will happen.
But
I promise you that. If you keep it in your mind and you really really want it and you really really work at it, it'll happen. I don't have no doubts that you can't make it happen.
like even then, like I'm gonna need financing, and if I go and get a loan from a bank, I'm gonna take that leap because I need the
Got to
money.
do. Got to do what you got to do, big homie.
Yeah, you can't just be living your life under a rock. I mean, you can, but you ain't going anywhere.
I'm about to say nothing changes if nothing changes.
Yep.
This has been a whole podcast of fucking quotes, dog. We've been talking in quotes this whole time. But
Life
it's
is
very
like a
true.
box of chocolates. You ain't never know what you're gonna get.
But it's gonna be chocolate. I know that.
You might, but it
I
might be
know
coconut too.
Ugh.
Yeah.
If you like the coconut chocolate, if you like, bruh, if you like the orange chocolates, unsubscribe to the Two Tone Podcast.
Are you talking about the orange?
The little box of chocolates with the fucking orange cream in the middle.
But no, there's another one. What is it called? Zest. The orange zest. Have you ever had those?
No.
It's chocolate with orange zest in it.
Yeah, it
It's
sounds
disgusting.
Yeah, if you like the chocolate and orange combination,
Or coconut and chocolate.
yeah, coconut, nasty. Y'all are ratchet. Whoever's watching this that likes the orange fucking chocolates in the box, bro. Y'all are disgusting.
Nasty. But yeah.
But yeah, bet on yourself, honestly, dog. If you got an idea and you really really want to make it and you really have the passion for it, who's to say that you can't, dog? You know, everybody started out at the bottom. Nobody started at the top.
I mean, think about it.
I'm thinking.
If George Washington
Mm-hmm.
decided not to go to America, we wouldn't be here.
We
All right,
probably-
we might be here, but he wouldn't have been a president.
Very true. It wouldn't have unfolded the way it did.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's another thing. All right, I'll save this for the next episode of the Two Tone Podcast because we're almost at time here. But I want to talk about conspiracy theories. I've been listening too much to the Joe Rogan podcast, and if you don't know nothing about Joe Rogan, he likes him a good conspiracy.
You need to watch Mystery
What's that?
on YouTube. You know the guys that did fuck, what is it called? It's like here, wait.
What's mystery about?
So it's these two guys, they literally sit and talk about conspiracies.
Okay. It sounds like my kind of show. I'm about to say I've been watching this YouTube channel recently called Explore With Us. It's like interrogation video from like killers and shit like that. Really
Yeah.
fucking really interesting kind of shit. It like breaks it down at like a psychological point, you know. The person is crossing their arms because they're trying to comfort themselves, you know, or put distance in between themselves and the interrogator. Really interesting kind of shit to think about, honestly. I've always been into weird kind of shit like that, falling down YouTube.
All right,
rabbit
so they're
holes.
called the Watchers, actually.
The Watchers.
Yeah.
What's that about?
So it's these two guys, and they just talk about conspiracies the whole time.
Okay.
They used to have another YouTube channel where they would talk about like, or it's called Mystery Files, but it's on Watchers YouTube.
Oh, okay.
But they're called the Mystery Files, and they just talk about like, conspiracies and like murder mysteries and all this stuff. They're pretty cool. They
I have to check
they used
it
to
out.
have another YouTube channel for BuzzFeed. It's called BuzzFeed Unsolved. I think you might have heard of it.
It sounds familiar.
But it was they would like do unsolved murders and stuff. And they would like go into depth about like what the murder, like what happened in the murder and the
Right.
backstory and everything. It was pretty interesting.
I've always been interested in like those murder mysteries, like a real whodunit kind of video, but
It's kind of why I like history.
Oh yeah, it's really interesting to see, like, especially like in the bigger events, just kind of get like the minutia of what actually happened.
I've always wanted to get like backstories about the like common people and like big events, like during the revolution.
Or just like an average day
Just
in
like-
an average day of a farmer and during the Civil War type shit. You
Yeah.
know, that would be very interesting.
Just like
to see.
very small, like not important people, just regular people that joined.
Right. Timmy's
whatever.
just on his donkey. His fucking cannonball just goes over his head. He's like, "What the fuck is? I'm just
going
gotta
home.
get this corn." But anyways.
But yeah,
We are at time here. I thank y'all so much for listening to the Two Tone Podcast. If you have made it all the way to the end, please leave a like, leave a subscribe. You know, who the fuck am I? Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, text this video to your grandma. She probably won't understand what we're talking about, but
your sister, your brother, your mother, your dad, your dog, your cat, your
yep,
gopher.
a gopher.
Yeah.
I ain't never heard nobody that had a gopher, but if you got a gopher, go. I was gonna make a joke.
If you work at the zoo, hold your phone up in front of the giraffe.
Don't let him eat the phone because he might. But anyways, go subscribe to TT's YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/@glasshousefilms8. The night shift is the only thing up there as of right now, but it is soon to change. If you like music, if you like clothing design, go ahead and hit that linktree.com/JAK Productions. That'll take you to a plethora of shit that I have going on. My music. It'll take you to the podcast.
Also,
If you want to go back into the podcast, and it'll take you to my social medias and whatnot.
if you're in Indiana and you want to be a part in any way of filmmaking, just hit me up on Instagram, glasshousefilms8.
Glasshousefilms8 on Instagram, Glasshousefilms8 on YouTube. I want to say thank you one more time to everybody that has come out to support the Two Tone Podcast. We appreciate you in any way that you desire to digest our media. I appreciate y'all so much, and thank you for watching the Two Tone Podcast.